Welcome to the Top 1% Book Club. You know we're all about bringing you those actionable insights from the best self-improvement books out there.
Absolutely, got to cut through the noise and get to what really works.
Exactly. And today, we're diving deep into Gary Keller's The One Thing. This book is all about how focusing on your most important task can unlock those extraordinary results we're all after.
It's like finding that secret lever that moves the whole machine.
I like that. So we'll be your guides today, sifting through the core concepts
Pulling out those golden nuggets, those actionable strategies.
that you can start using today. We're talking about cutting through distractions.
Prioritizing like a pro.
And finally, achieving your goals with real clarity and purpose. So, are you ready to discover the power of simplicity? Learn how to accomplish more by actually doing less.
It's counterintuitive, but it works.
It really does. So Gary Keller, he starts off by shattering some common success myths that we often fall for. These things sound true, they sound truthy, but they actually hold us back. Have you ever felt like everything on your to-do list is equally important?
Oh, yeah. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. It's a trap.
It is. And Keller tackles this one head on. Remember that Pareto principle, that 80-20 rule.
Sure, 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts.
Right. It applies here, too. So 20% of the things on your to-do list might be responsible for 80% of your progress towards a major goal. So it's about finding those high-impact actions.
The critical few that really move the needle.
It's almost like a superpower, figuring out what those are.
Yeah.
And then there's this myth of multitasking.
Oh, man, multitasking.
We try to juggle it all at once.
But Keller says, nope, not so fast.
He says it's actually counterproductive. And he uses some really compelling examples. I mean, studies show that even seminary students,
People who are primed to be super helpful.
yeah, they're less likely to help someone in need when they're in a hurry. Time pressure can derail even the best intentions, right?
Absolutely. It's like our brains just can't handle that level of switching back and forth. And it proves that multitasking isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Not at all. It's fascinating, though, how these misconceptions become so ingrained in our thinking.
Oh, they really do. They become almost like habits.
Another one Keller debunks is that our willpower is this constant force. He says it fluctuates throughout the day.
It's like a muscle that gets tired.
Right. And it gets depleted as we make decisions, which I can totally relate to. Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, yeah. By the end of the day, I'm like, don't even ask me to choose what's for dinner.
It's decision fatigue.
Absolutely. And you know what's really interesting? Research even shows that parole judges' decisions.
Parole judges, really?
Yes. Their decisions are influenced by their willpower levels. They're more likely to grant parole in the morning.
When they're fresh,
Exactly. Or after breaks.
when their willpower is higher.
So it makes you think, right, we could actually schedule our most important tasks.
For those peak willpower times. For a lot of us, that's probably first thing in the morning, right?
Yeah, when we're fresh and ready to go.
So what else does Keller say we often get wrong about achieving those extraordinary results?
Well, he challenges this whole idea of the balanced life, that constant juggling act, work, family, health, everything else. He says that striving for perfect balance all the time can actually hinder our progress.
Wait, striving for balance is a bad thing. That goes against a lot of what we hear out there.
Right. But it's not that balance is inherently bad.
Yeah.
What Keller's saying is that we need to think about it as purposeful imbalance. He uses this analogy of counterbalancing buckets. Like you've got your work bucket and your personal life bucket. And yeah, they both need attention.
But not always in equal measure, right?
Exactly. It's about focusing on the most important thing at the right time. Because different areas of our lives
They're going to demand more attention at different times.
make sense, right? It's not about being perfectly balanced all the time. It's about being strategically unbalanced. And speaking of balance, don't be afraid to think big when it comes to your goals.
Think big.
Keller says those ambitious goals, even the ones that seem audacious, they can be incredibly motivating. They push us further than we thought possible.
Like Bill Gates setting out to put a computer on every desk.
Exactly. That was a huge goal. It seemed crazy at the time, but look what happened.
Incredible. So dream big, ditch the multitasking, schedule those tasks for your peak willpower times. This is all starting to come together, I think. But how do we actually figure out what that one thing is?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. I mean, how do we cut through all the noise and find that one lever that makes everything else easier?
Well, that's where Keller introduces his focusing question. It's a tool designed to do just that.
The focusing question. I like it. So before we dive into that, I'm curious, what's resonating with you so far from these debunked myths?
Yeah. Have you fallen prey to any of these? I know I have.
Me too. It's amazing how we sometimes get in our own way without even realizing it. But we're going to break free from all that, so stay with us.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in that whirlwind of daily tasks and just completely lose sight of what actually moves us forward.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
can definitely relate to that feeling of being busy but not necessarily productive.
Busy work.
So this focusing question, this is like our secret weapon for prioritizing, right?
It really is. It's a powerful tool. Just cuts through all the noise and helps you zero in on what truly matters.
So how does it work?
The question is this: what's the one thing I can do, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary?
Hmm.
It seems simple on the surface, but it's profound when you really think about it.
It really makes you think about those domino effects. What's that one action that sets everything else in motion? It's not about creating an endless to-do list. It's about finding that one single most leveraged action.
Exactly. And you can apply this question to both your big picture goals and your everyday tasks.
So I like that. So for example, let's say your big goal is to write a book.
Okay, write a book. Big goal.
You ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do today that's going to move me closer to finishing that book?
I see. So it could be writing for a dedicated block of time,
Right.
or maybe outlining a new chapter.
Or doing some research on a key topic.
I love how this breaks those massive goals down into manageable steps.
Yeah, it's not about trying to do everything at once.
Just focusing on that one crucial step forward.
Yeah.
It's almost like a mantra for making progress. What's the one thing I can do?
Exactly. And it's a question you can revisit regularly. Because as you move forward, your one thing might shift.
Right. What was initially the most important task may become less relevant.
As you start knocking down those dominoes.
So it's a constant process of reassessment. Always asking, what's the one thing right now? But knowing our one thing, that's just the beginning, right?
Of course.
We have to actually make it happen. We've got to bridge that gap between knowing and doing.
Absolutely. And Keller provides a ton of actionable strategies to help us put this into practice.
So what are some of those strategies? I'm ready to start taking action.
One of the key strategies that he emphasizes is time blocking.
Time blocking, okay.
It's not enough to simply intend to work on your one thing. You have to actually schedule it into your day.
Literally block off the time.
And fiercely protect those blocks of time from distractions. In fact, he recommends blocking off 4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours each day for your one thing.
4 hours. That's a serious chunk of time.
It is.
Do you think that's realistic for most people?
It might seem daunting at first, but remember the goal is to make everything else easier or unnecessary.
Right.
And by dedicating that focused time to your one thing, you're actually freeing up time and mental energy in the long run. And hey, it doesn't have to be 4 hours all at once.
Right. You could break it up.
You can break it into smaller chunks throughout the day.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about finding what works for your own schedule and energy levels. Okay, so we've blocked off the time. Now, how do we stay focused? Because there are always so many distractions vying for our attention.
Oh, I know. It's like they have a radar for when you're trying to concentrate.
Right.
Okay, here's a practical tip. Create a visual reminder.
A visual reminder, okay.
Something like, until my one thing is done, everything else is a distraction.
Ooh, I like that.
And put it up where you can see it. Your desk, your computer screen, heck, even on your bathroom mirror.
That's great. It's a great way to keep yourself on track and gently remind others not to interrupt. It's like a do not disturb sign for your most important work.
It is.
And speaking of support, Keller also emphasizes the importance of accountability. He even mentions that Bill Gates had mentors and partners who played a role in his success. It highlights the fact that nobody achieves extraordinary results in isolation.
Exactly. We all need support and guidance along the way. Partnering with a mentor, a coach, or even just a friend can make a huge difference in staying focused and motivated. And research has actually shown that sharing your progress
Increases your chances of success.
significantly increases your chances of success.
It's like having a personal cheerleader in your corner, reminding you of your goals and celebrating your wins. But even with the best intentions and support systems in place, there are still obstacles that can get in our way. And Keller talks about these 4 thieves of productivity, pitfalls that can steal our time and just totally derail our progress.
Oh, yeah. These thieves are sneaky, and they can show up in any area of our lives.
What's the first thief we need to watch out for?
The first one is the inability to say no.
Oh, the inability to say no. That is a big one.
It is. It's so easy to get caught up in saying yes to every request, every opportunity, even those that don't really align with our priorities.
Oh, I'm so guilty of that.
But to truly protect your time and energy for your one thing,
You got to learn to say no.
you have to be selective about what you commit to. Learning to politely but firmly decline requests that don't serve your goals is essential.
It's so true. It's like that old saying, one yes must be defended by 1,000 no's. Okay, so that's the first thief. What's next?
The second thief is the fear of chaos.
The fear of chaos. I think this one resonates with a lot of people. Because when we laser focus on one thing,
Other areas of our lives might temporarily fall by the wayside.
right, the laundry piles up, emails go unanswered, the to-do list grows longer. But I guess that's just part of the process, right?
It's natural to feel that pull to address those things. But Keller argues that we have to embrace a certain level of chaos
Embrace the chaos.
to achieve those extraordinary results.
It's about accepting that there will always be some loose ends.
Unfinished tasks.
And that's okay.
Hmm.
The world won't end if you don't respond to every email immediately.
It really won't. It's about progress, not perfection. And chances are those seemingly unimportant tasks, they'll either get easier to tackle after you've accomplished your one thing, or they might not even matter anymore.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, so we've got the inability to say no. We've got the fear of chaos. So what are the other two thieves we need to watch out for?
Yeah, it's so easy to let those thieves just sneak in and sabotage our efforts.
They really are sneaky.
So what are those other two that we need to be aware of?
All right, so the third thief is poor health habits.
Oh, health habits. Okay.
We often underestimate just how much our physical and mental well-being impacts our productivity.
Yeah, it's like trying to run a marathon on an empty stomach.
Exactly.
You might start off with a burst of energy, but you're going to burn out quick.
You're going to hit that wall.
So true. So we need to make sure we're getting enough sleep, eating nourishing foods,
Fueling our bodies.
moving our bodies regularly.
It all works together. It's not just about being healthy. It's about fueling our productivity so we can actually achieve those extraordinary results.
Those healthy habits are the foundation for everything else.
Okay, so that's number 3, poor health habits. What's the fourth thief?
The fourth one is our environment.
Our environment. Okay.
And this includes both our physical workspace and the people we surround ourselves with.
So it's like setting the stage for success.
Exactly.
We need a space that's conducive to focus and productivity.
A space that supports your goals.
And we need to be around people who encourage and support us too.
Your tribe.
I've definitely noticed a difference in my productivity when I'm working in a cluttered, chaotic space versus when I have a clean and organized one.
Oh, yeah. Our environment has a huge impact on our mindset and our ability to focus.
Huge.
If we're constantly bombarded with distractions,
Or surrounded by people who drain our energy.
it's going to be that much harder to stay on track.
You know, what's interesting about Keller's book is that it focuses on achieving these extraordinary results. But I'm realizing these principles, they apply to all areas of life.
Oh, they do.
Relationships, health, personal growth.
It's about being intentional.
It's about being intentional with our time and energy.
You nailed it. The one thing is really a powerful framework for creating a life of purpose and impact.
It's not just about getting more things done.
It's about aligning our actions with what truly matters.
So let's bring it all together. We've talked about debunking those success myths.
Those sneaky myths.
We've explored the power of the focusing question.
That's a game changer.
And we've uncovered strategies for making it all happen.
From time blocking to accountability.
And even those 4 sneaky productivity thieves that we need to watch out for.
Always lurking.
So what's the key takeaway here?
The journey to extraordinary results starts with that first domino.
Finding and focusing on your one thing.
And it's an ongoing process.
Not a one-time thing.
A continuous cycle of asking the focusing question, taking action, reassessing and refining.
It's like building a staircase to success.
One focused step at a time.
I love that analogy. Each focused action builds upon the one before it, creating that momentum towards our goals.
Momentum is key.
And as we climb that staircase, we need to be mindful of those thieves lurking in the shadows, ready to trip us up.
They're always there.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
Think about it.
We've unpacked some powerful concepts from the one thing.
Really powerful stuff.
But the real magic happens when you actually put these ideas into practice.
Action is key.
So think about an area of your life where you're craving those extraordinary results.
What's calling to you?
What's your one thing in that area right now
What's that one domino?
that will set off a chain reaction of success?
Get that momentum going.
We encourage you to grab a notebook, jot down your answers, and start building your own staircase to success, one focused step at a time. Remember, doing less can actually lead to accomplishing more.
That's the power of the one thing.